Little girl helped a lost biker find his way. Days later, 90 Hells Angels showed up at her school. It was just another crisp autumn afternoon in the quiet town of Maple Ridge when 7-year-old Hazel Thompson walked home from Oakwood Elementary, her backpack bouncing against her shoulders and her mind full of crayon drawings and spelling words. What she didn't know was that this ordinary day would become the beginning of something extraordinary, something that would ripple far beyond her small community and challenge everything people thought they knew about fear, judgment, and human kindness. As Hazel turned onto Elm Street, she spotted a man standing beside a gleaming black motorcycle. He was tall, tattooed, clad in leather, with a thick beard and a patch on his vest that read Hells Angels. To most adults in town, he would have been cause for alarm, a figure straight out of cautionary tales whispered at PTA meetings. But Hazel didn't see a biker gang member. She saw someone who looked lost. "Hi, mister," she said, her voice clear and sweet. "Are you okay?" The man, Connor, looked down, surprised. Most kids ran away or hid behind their parents when they saw him, but not this one. He knelt, softening his rough edges into a gentle smile. "I'm trying to find Highway 12, he admitted. "My GPS died." Without hesitation, Hazel pointed down the road. "You go 2 blocks that way, then turn right at the bakery. There's a big green sign. It'll take you straight there." Connor thanked her, genuinely touched. Before he left, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a shiny silver coin with an angel etched into it. "For your kindness," he said. "Keep it safe." Hazel tucked it into her jacket and skipped home, never imagining what would happen next. 3 days later, chaos erupted outside Oakwood Elementary. At precisely 2:45 p.m., just before dismissal, the ground began to tremble. Not from an earthquake, but from the roar of engines. 90 motorcycles rolled into the school parking lot in perfect formation, chrome glinting under the afternoon sun, leather vests flapping like banners of some ancient tribe. Parents screamed, teachers rushed children indoors. Someone called 911. Principal Miller stepped forward, heart pounding, ready to confront what she assumed was a threat. But then Connor dismounted, removed his helmet, and raised his hands in peace. "We're here for Hazel," he said calmly. "We just want to thank her." Confused and wary, the staff allowed him inside. When Hazel was brought out, wide-eyed but not afraid, Connor knelt again, this time in front of the entire school. "You helped a stranger when you didn't have to," he told her, his voice thick with emotion. "You saw me as a person, not a label, and that changed everything." Then, to everyone's astonishment, the Hells Angels presented Hazel with a $5,000 scholarship for her future education, funded entirely by the club. They also donated books, school supplies, and even volunteered to repaint the school's aging playground. The crowd fell silent. Tears welled in eyes that had once held only suspicion. In that moment, walls built on decades of prejudice began to crumble. News of the event spread like wildfire. National headlines read, "Little girl's kindness moves Hells Angels to generosity." Talk shows debated stereotypes. Social media exploded with hashtag #SeeThePerson. But perhaps the most powerful chapter came months later during a brutal winter storm that tore through Maple Ridge. Hazel's father, Tom, owned the town's only hardware store, Thompson's Fix-It. The storm shattered windows, collapsed part of the roof, and flooded the inventory. Standing in the wreckage, Tom felt hopeless. Insurance wouldn't cover everything. Rebuilding seemed impossible. That night, over hot cocoa, Hazel remembered the silver coin in her drawer and the number Connor had quietly scribbled on the back. "Dad," she said, "what if we ask for help?" Tom hesitated, but desperation outweighed pride. The next morning, Hazel dialed the number. 2 days later, A convoy of trucks and bikes arrived, not just Hell's Angels, but members of other motorcycle clubs too, all answering Connor's call. They worked tirelessly for a week, patching roofs, rebuilding shelves, restoring electricity. They refused payment. "This is family," Connor told Tom. "And Hazel, she's our little sister now." By spring, Thompson's Fix-It reopened with a new mural on the side depicting a small girl holding hands with a biker beneath the words, "Kindness has no uniform." Years later, Hazel, now a teenager, still carries that silver coin. She speaks at schools about empathy, about how one act of seeing someone fully can change lives. Connor remains a close friend, often visiting for Sunday dinners. And the people of Maple Ridge, they no longer cross the street when they see a leather vest. They say hello, they offer coffee, they remember. Because Hazel taught them something profound, that humanity isn't defined by appearances, patches, or reputations, but by actions, by the courage to extend a hand even when the world tells you to pull away. In a time when division feels louder than ever, her story is a quiet thunder, a reminder that the smallest among us can ignite the greatest change. So the next time you see someone who looks different, remember Hazel. Remember that behind every scar, tattoo, or uniform is a person who might just be lost and waiting for someone kind enough to point the way. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more real stories of hope, healing, and human connection to millions around the world. And don't forget to tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? Thanks for watching.